Hi folks! So, as you can see, I am without Leah. Emma is without the L today. Thank you, those of you who have subscribed to us, followed us on Twitter and Tumblr, have been liking and commenting and the odd share of our video. We really appreciate every time somebody, joins us and is enjoying what we're doing. So, yay! Thank you. You are all awesome. So, as you can see previously, Leah has already done her first solo vlog, so I thought, well, it's probably about time that I did one too. Obviously all missing this beautiful face here. As you can really tell, we had an absolutely fabulous time in Paris. And now that we've been back for a few weeks, I thought it would be a good point to start doing some tips. And I thought a good place to start would be some tips about travelling with a friend, because that's kind of what Lemma Diaries is basically based on, is that you and I travel together as two friends. Now we've known each other for a long time, but our travels together are sort of a fairly new thing in our friendship. We've done sort of odd hotel stays and things, but this trip was probably our first real travel experience together. But the Paris trip was a real eye-opener as to things that work for us and things that don't when we travel. Now, every person is going to be different when it comes to travelling as a friendship group, but I thought for my first vlog I would do my top 5 tips for travelling with a friend. Tips that can apply to pretty much everyone that's travelling with a friend. So, excuse me, that was not a burp. Obviously not. This may be a new friend or an old friend, somebody that you've not really travelled with before, somebody that you travel with a lot, but you just want a bit more advice on how to put a trip together, maybe. Basically, this is for anybody that is travelling with a companion and just would like some tips on how to plan and how to make it a sort of more pleasant, easy, breezy experience for everyone. So, tip number 1, research together. This is always a good place to start. Planning for me is one of my favourite parts of the process, and planning with another person is even more fun because you can start getting excited about the trip together, you can talk about things you want to do, look at things, just do your research, look at websites and maybe go, oh yeah, that's a nice place I'd like to go, or that looks like so much fun, can we do that? Or maybe that looks boring, can we avoid that? Or that's really not my thing. It's a really good starting point to kind of get a feel of whether you are going to be a great match when it comes to travelling. Leah and I find we agree on a lot of things. We look separately and then we come together and we say, I like this, this, this and this, and we often find that when we compare lists, a lot of the things tend to agree with each other, which is quite nice. Definitely discuss it with each other, work out a plan that you're both happy with and that you are both going to enjoy when the holiday finally comes around. For both of your knowledge, then you may have a certain knowledge, like Leah was very knowledgeable about the city of Paris itself because she's been before, but she didn't have a lot of knowledge of Disneyland Paris, which is where I could come in because Disney parks are kind of my forte. I kind of know the sort of planning that's involved in making a day at Disney worthwhile. So she was very handy at giving me tips of things that I might enjoy, on top of the things that I already knew I wanted to do, and vice versa. When it came to the day at Disney, I was able to say, oh yes, this ride you'll really enjoy, you'll like to eat here, we have to do the fireworks, etc. So it's definitely a good starting point. Tip number 2, compromise. No one is exactly the same. At certain points you have to be prepared to sacrifice things that somebody else doesn't want to do to accommodate your friend and make a more breezy, easy experience. Why do I keep saying breezy, easy? Why am I rhyming? Let me not keep making that a thing. It's going to make the whole experience a lot nicer for everybody concerned. You're not going to be able to do everything. And pretty much everywhere is like that. Especially if you go to a city, you are not going to be able to do everything. Tip number 3. Plan around your strengths and weaknesses. You know that certain situations or modes of transport or experiences are going to be difficult for you, then speak up and say so. I know on Leah's part that while she is perfectly fine when we travel in Paris to go on the metro, when we travel in London, she struggles with the underground. She finds it a bit of a claustrophobic experience, which I have learnt over the years, and that's fine. When we go to London, we plan around taking the bus or a cab instead of going on the tube. On the other side of it, if somebody comes to you and says, this is a situation that I am not comfortable with, I don't think I could do that, it's too much for me, it's too far to walk, then don't be a dick about it. You know, it's not their fault. I assume if somebody came to you and said that and you were a dick about it, you probably aren't really friends in the first place. Stating the obvious on the Lemma Diaries. Tip number 4. Make 2 copies of everything. This is just a common sense practicality tip. You won't know how much you need it until you need it. If you were ever to get separated at any point on your travels or at your destination, or more so on the way, then everybody has at least 1 copy of everything. So when we went to Paris, we did 2 copies of our Eurostar tickets, our hotel reservations, and our Disney park tickets. They were the things that we bought before we left. And everybody took 1 copy of each. Should somebody lose their stuff, like if, for example, if I were to say lose my folder, God forbid, no thank you, we would have copies of our hotel reservations, so we wouldn't be completely screwed when we got to the hotel or trying to get on the Eurostar. Tip number 5. Be prepared to see a different side of the other person. Leah and I have been friends for almost 9 years now, so we've kind of got to a point where there's not much else that can really surprise you about the other. But this is not always the case if you've only known somebody for a couple of years even, or a few months and you decide to go away with them. Maybe they might snore if you share a room, or they might be a bit cranky in the morning and you may not have realised this. And sometimes that's when people clash, is when they're away and suddenly they're in close quarters with this other person and they turn out to be completely different when you have to spend 24 hours a day with them for a certain period of time. And that's okay. Sometimes it happens. It just means they may not be somebody you can travel with. You live and you learn, and you can still have a good time, but you do it in the knowledge that it's probably not something that's going to happen again. That really made it sound like I think Leah snores. Leah, I'm sorry. I don't mean that. You don't snore. I promise. Love you. Yes, those are my tips. In the end, Leah and I have obviously found that we're a really good match for each other when it comes to going places. Luckily for you lovely people that have been watching our channel, you get to see more of us. Yay! Thank you for watching this vlog. I hope it was helpful. I try. If you have any tips on travelling with a friend, please use the comment box below. We would love to hear from you. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and share it. If you like what we're doing, then please subscribe to us and follow us on Tumblr and Twitter. The links will be in the description. Thank you for watching, and please stay tuned. I have a solo vlog from London coming up from a few weeks back, and Leah and I are doing some tips from Brighton, our hometown, as well as an exciting announcement about some fun travel plans that we have for the summer. This has been Lemma Diaries' top 5 tips on travelling with a friend, and thank you for watching. Bye!